Alright, you guys, it is Friday, November 3rd, 2023, and we have a lot of things that happen this week in gaming. And if you're new to this channel, if you're new to this style of video that I do every single Friday, what I like to do is gather up a lot of news stories that happened this week that I found interesting, and I hope you guys found interesting as well. Things like Super Mario RPG getting some previews out there, things like Warioware getting its review, and much more. Go ahead and stick around, do me a favor and like this video. If you guys like this video, please consider subscribing, as that does help us out tons. But without wasting any more time, let's get into the very first news topic, and that is Super Mario RPG. This game is a remake of the Super Nintendo classic. It's been lauded as one of the best RPGs ever. Definitely on the Super Nintendo, one of the greatest RPGs. And the previews have came out, and a lot of people were singing this game praise, not just for what it is as a remake, but also just what it is as a way of modernizing a very classic game without jeopardizing the soul and spirit of that game, and more so just elevating it to a more modern approach. And that is fantastic to hear. That's what I want to hear these remakes do. Do your games justice, but also modernize it for a more sensible palette for today's audience. Nintendo updated their NSO application to include games like Castlevania Legends for the Game Boy application, The Mysterious Murasami's Castle, and Devil World for the NES. Now, this is, I think, an interesting group of games. I don't think any of them are really like groundbreaking, except for maybe Murasami's Castle if you're really into like classic Zelda games, as it is very much what a lot of Zelda's like inspiration comes from, as far as just the way it looked back on NES and Super Nintendo, and similar to how it played. But other than that, I'm not really too interested in any of these. Maybe I'll check out Murasami's Castle later. With the Nintendo Switch getting up there in age, Nintendo Switch 2 leaks and rumors have been all the craze for the better half of the Nintendo Switch's life. People have been expecting things like Nintendo Switch Pro devices, Nintendo Switch 2, Super Nintendo Switch, whatever we're calling it nowadays. And I feel like every week there's new leaks, there's new rumors as far as what it's going to be, as far as like a concept. And this is like, I think, the most concrete evidence that we know what's next for the Nintendo Switch. But honestly, I'm not even gonna like put too much salt into this one. But pretty much Nintendo patented a new design for like a Nintendo Switch, where how the Nintendo Switch has like the detachable Joy-Cons, this new Nintendo Switch would have like a detachable screen, so you'd kind of have like two Nintendo Switches connected together, and you could break it off and like hand it off to your friend, and you guys each have your own like mini handheld console. Again, I don't know how much salt I hold in this one. It doesn't really sound interesting to me, if I'm being honest. But at the same time, it doesn't like sound too out of the realm of possibility for Nintendo. But again, I think I'm just over all these Nintendo Switch 2 rumors and leaks and stuff like that. I don't think I really care anymore until Nintendo themselves actually tell me what's going on. I don't think I'm going to really be paying attention much more further into any of these like leaks or rumors. PlayStation has officially announced their games coming to PS Plus for the month of November. So starting November 7th, you're gonna have games like Mafia 2, Dragon Ball: The Breakers, and Aliens Fireteam. These games I don't think excite anybody, and again, I think PlayStation Plus has been under a lot of scrutiny lately, pretty much based off of the fact they're not really offering anything as far as like online multiplayer games. They're not offering anything as far as any interesting and engaging content. So this is all also coming on the heel of their announcement of them raising the prices, specifically in starting in November. So again, this is interesting, the fact that they didn't really like go like all out and release a crazy game or something like that. But honestly, I just don't think PlayStation really cares about their online service anymore. I think they just know that people are gonna buy into it regardless, so they don't really have to put too much stock into it. Here's hoping that changes sometime soon. But as it is right now, I think we can just expect that PlayStation Plus isn't going to be getting the best games moving forward. 2023 has been a fantastic year for games if you're a consumer. But I think if you're on the other side, if you're part of the people who are making these games that we love, it has been a very scary and a very tumultuous time for a lot of these developers and studios. Bungie is the recent among tons of other development studios that have been laying off a lot of their staff. And it seems that sources are saying that Bungie laid off maybe roughly around 100 of their employees. Now, this is nothing for the big giant like teams that Bungie has, but 100 people is a lot of people. And again, this is all nebulous. We don't know exactly how much, but the sources are saying it's roughly 100 employees. Regardless of the amount, it does suck to see that Bungie, who is a really, really well talented team, Bungie is one of the people that have been pushing and making waves in the live service like side of gaming. PlayStation recently acquired Bungie with the thought to retain a lot of the talent there. So to see Bungie go out and like lay off a huge portion of their team does suck. Bungie did mention that it is on their doing as far as their leadership and not Sony's leadership pressuring them into it. They also did say that this is following the trend that Destiny hasn't been doing as hot as it once was, at least once it released. Obviously, we're years away. We're years off from like the initial launch date of Destiny 2, and we're expansions in already. So it makes sense that like players have been dropping off. You know, this is a game that's going on for a long time. I think a lot of people are ready for Destiny 3. It just sucks that they didn't really have a plan in place. They expected X amount of players to be playing, and they just don't see that. So in turn, the team behind it, who probably really loved and cared about this game, no longer have jobs anymore. I mean, this is the way of the beast, and this is the way 2023 has been trending. And hopefully we figure something out soon, because a lot of these people just are leaving studios, and there are talented people. Moving on to more positive notes, Star Ocean, the second story R, released and reviewed this week. The Metacritic is sitting at a very, very nice 86. That is fantastic to hear. I did check this game out. I did pick it up on day one, and I'm having a blast going through the story. This is a fantastic remake of a beloved classic game from a specific fan base, and I'm glad to see that I'm finally getting to experience the Star Ocean franchise in a way that I think a lot of fans uphold the second game as probably the best within the franchise, and it's easy to see why. From the characters to the music to the environments, everything is so stunning. Not to mention this new HD 2D like upgrade. I'm not exactly sure if this is following the same HD 2D as like a Live Alive is and Triangle Strategy, as it does look slightly different, where it's like pixels but walking around a 3D world. Again, whatever they're doing, it looks stunning, it looks beautiful, and I'm all here for it. Again, if you guys haven't checked out Star Ocean, you guys are at all interested in it, I highly recommend it, as it is a fantastic game. Warioware Moveit is another game that reviewed and released this week, and I think this is less like touted as a great game. It is sitting at a 75 for Metacritic, which in all fairness for a Warioware game, I think is pretty impressive. Warioware, if you guys are unfamiliar, it's just a collection of these really fast micro games that aren't challenging by any means, but they kind of like put your skills to the test as far as like how fast you can react to things, how fast you can like solve some of the puzzles that they're asking you for, as they're never outright telling you what to do. They just give you a hint and you kind of got to figure it out. All in all, it does look like a fun game. It's like a fun party game. I'm interested in it. I didn't check it out yet. I'll kind of see if I do want to pick it up today or if I might just wait a little bit later. But overall, it does look like a fun game, and I am a fan of the Warioware series. Konami is a development studio slash publisher that used to make amazing great games, things like Silent Hill, Metal Gears, Contra, and have long been a very dormant publishing team, development team, if you're counting like actual video games, as they kind of moved away to like pachinko machines. They have slowly been making their way back with things like collections, and now we're looking more like remakes are happening with Silent Hill 2 and Metal Gear Solid Delta. In their latest earning report, Konami did mention that they have Silent Hill remakes, multiple remake in the progress, in the woodworks, coming out sometime in the near future, which is really interesting to see that we are getting multiple remakes, not just Silent Hill 2. They're probably going to follow the trend of like Resident Evil, where we get a remake, then we get a new game, then we get a remake, new game, remake, new game. That's cool, that's exciting. I was a somewhat fan of Silent Hill in the past, and I am excited to see what Konami can do differently this time, and overall if they still have it in them to make quality games. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's campaign officially launched last night. If you guys are at all interested in Call of Duty's campaign, you can get it early by pre-ordering the game. I've been playing it, my wife's been playing it, we've been having fun with the game. It is a Call of Duty campaign, nothing too crazy. I know they mentioned how it's more like a sandbox versus like a linear experience, and I get the idea behind that, where you kind of walk into an environment, there's a bunch of like weapon packs everywhere, and a bunch of checkpoints. So it is like somewhat like a sandbox where you can approach the mission however you want, opposed to like following just a linear track that says do this, do this, do this. So it is fun. It is interesting. I'm excited to see where they take the story. If they're just gonna tread old ground. This is the first campaign I've played in a really long time, to be honest, and I kind of missed it. It felt like not returning to home per se, but returning to a place that's very familiar. Alright, our final news topic of this video pertains to Elden Ring and their DLC, Shadow of the Urge Tree. This is the long-awaited DLC that fans of Elden Ring have been waiting and longing for. From Software has made a statement publicly saying that the DLC is proceeding smoothly, and that is great to hear. We still don't have a release date, announcement window, anything like that, but I'm willing to bet that come Game of the Year, we definitely hear something as far as information of Erdtree, and probably a release window for sometime earlier mid 2024. I'm pretty excited. Not necessarily for me, but just for the fan base. I like the fan base of Elden Ring and how hyped they get for some of these things, and it makes me passionate as just like a viewer of them having fun. You know what I'm saying? I like it when other people enjoy video games and they get the things that they want from these games. So yeah. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know down below if any of these topics interested in you. Remember to go out there, enjoy your weekend, and play some video games. See you guys in the next video.